Gideon, I don't want to say he was a coward, but he wasn't very sure of himself. Even when a messenger, an angel comes down to him and tells him what God has in store for him, what God has chosen him to do, he wanted the angel to do certain miracles, to give him certain signs, to just make sure that this was real and that this was really a messenger from God. And once the angel got Gideon to a point where he would accept it, the Most High still knew Gideon really wasn't sure about the journey he was going to embark on. Even though he's heard the stories of his forefathers and how they've accomplished and overcome certain things through the power of God. Now God delivered them from Egypt. He still wasn't sure. Is this the same God? We've been getting trampled over all these years. Is this the same? Is he going to deliver us again? And the angel told Gideon, well, listen. Most I say, go down. If you still unsure, you still scared, go down to the bank where the enemy is on the other side. Go down to the bank where the enemy is, hide in the bushes, hide somewhere, and listen to their conversation. And I don't even know if it said listen. I have to go back, but that's what happened. He told him to go down there to the bank, just listen in, So, Gideon took one of his buddies with him. They went down there probably stealth mode, and they're listening to some of the conversations of the enemy. And while they're listening, one of the enemies is talking to another soldier, and he said, "Man, I had a dream last night." He was like, "What was the dream?" And it was something like, some baskets of bread, some giant baskets of bread came down the mountain and tumbled the camp and fell down and tore up the whole camp. Man, killed all of us. And the other soldier said to him, he said, "Nah, that wasn't. I'm gonna tell you what that dream. That dream was the God of Israel and Gideon's sword coming to destroy all of us." And what Gideon heard from his enemy, that gave him the confidence. And I'm using this, and I want to glean from this, that sometimes your enemies, sometimes the conversations of people that you don't really like that, sometimes the conversations of strangers can push you to go on that journey God has called you to go on. I'm gonna give you this example of our life, where I was finna jump into entrepreneurship. I had quit one job. At the time I had been working 2-3 jobs, but I was working, I was working FedEx, and I was working at a bakery, and I was doing these shirts and stuff on the side. Then, it got to a point, I bought a machine, I had a storefront, but I still was working 2 jobs. So when I got off the 2 jobs, I would go and do a little work at the storefront. I had the storefront also for ministry purposes. But, I had the storefront. And I was working out of it also. So it got to a point, I quit the first job. But, the FedEx was kind of part-time anyway. It wasn't about 15-20 hours a week. So I let that go, and to do the t-shirt thing, to kind of push that. But then I bought an embroidery machine, and that kind of pushed it a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, man, I might have to get up. Orders started coming in. I started learning e-com, woody woo. And I was like, man, I'm ready, but I was still unsure. And I went on to put my 2 weeks in. Put my 2-week notice in on them. And you know, when that last day came, the owner, cause it was a small bakery, family owned bakery. The owner came to me with the pretty much the operations manager. And the owner said to me, the father, he was like, you know, man, we gonna miss you, man. And you know, man, you was a good employee, man. I appreciate you, man, for these, you know, several years you done been with us. If you ever want to return, man, you know the door's wide open. Anytime you want to return, you can come back. And I was like, man, yeah, you know, can always come back, man. And that kind of took a little weight off me. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna be all right. We gonna see, and then if it don't work, I'm gonna come back. And as you know, they turned around. You know what I'm saying? We say we embraced, shook hands, or whatever, and they, you know, they went on out. The owner and the operations manager. When by the time they bent the corner, I heard the operations manager say, "He ain't coming back." I heard him say, "He ain't coming back. He not coming back." And that gave me full assurance that, you know what, God, that was God telling me I'm not going back to that job. Let it go and receive what I've done for you. And sometimes you may have to listen to strangers. You may get information. A lot of times y'all want to do the videos and you don't want to have it. Leave them comments on. Leave them comments on. There may be inspiration in them comments. All right. There may be inspiration in those conversations you ain't supposed to be in. You know, I didn't know, you know, even in ministry, I didn't know I was a leader of the camp, of the ministry, of the church. I didn't know I was a leader of the church until I did a rebuke video. And after I did a rebuke video, when I gave some brothers some correction, those brothers said, man, you know, Brother Phineas is a false prophet, the leader of this, you know, Prince of Power Israelite. He's a false prophet. And I said, the leader? Me? The leader? I guess I am the leader. Let me embrace it. I guess I am. I guess I am the leader of this thing, man. So that's what we can glean from it. Sometimes you may find out, and I'm not saying the people that I work for, they was some of the best employers that I've had. That they're enemies or anything. It's just in the instance of Gideon, he actually received his motivation from, you know, how his enemies viewed him. Sometimes your enemies may have a better view of you, or see you more highly esteemed than you see yourself. And sometimes you listening to them, you hearing their game reports, almost like an athlete that hears other people game planning for him. And you know, but number 6, you know, if he does this and does that, he's their best player. You're like, wait a minute, I'm the best player? I didn't know I was the best player. We never discussed that y'all think I'm the best player. You know, sometimes, man, that information from others, whether they're your enemies, your friends, your family, or strangers that you don't know, man, sometimes that's just enough to push you. So you just got to understand when God's speaking, man. Sometimes when you're on that journey, it just takes just one sentence, you know what God done said to you, you know what you done asked God for in your prayers, and you know, you can look for certain signs for encouragement to help you continue on that journey and endure through that process. Because I'm, you know, even with this entrepreneurship, I'm not gonna say it ain't, you know, it ain't been rough. It's been rough. It's been some up and downs. It ain't been the best of times. It has been some good times, but I ain't been back.